Man, I wasn't live. Wow. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I was live and I was not live this entire time. Now I'm live. I've been talking this whole time. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I thought I was live. And I just happened to look. I've been talking for the last, yeah, 15, 20 minutes. All right. Let me just get a little some music playing here and give myself a break here. I was not expecting that. So I apologize if those were just sitting there waiting on me to go live and I was not live the whole time. I was talking, I was not live. How about that? So to just to kind of shorten the time frame up because I'm already 15 minutes behind now that I found out I wasn't live. Um, Number one, if you don't know me, Kenneth Francis here, aka the consultant. And what I do is I show the everyday person how to take their banking situation, the assets that they have in Chase or Wells Fargo or Navy Federal, all these bank accounts, all these institutions where they hold our funds, hold our money, right? Our hard-earned money, by the way, and they take custodianship of that money. They leverage that money, they invest that money, they compound that money, they multiply that money, and we're just kind of sitting there, you know, hoping that we can get a signature loan, right? But and they're denying you, or you're not able to get some of the things you want with your own money. So what I show people how to do is to come over into the decentralized space. We call it the blockchain, right? On chain, and or Web3 is another name for it, and I call it self custody, and that's kind of what this sovereign Sunday session is about. Is about showing people how to go from having a bank situation where they're at their whatever bank you're with to taking some of those assets and then start participating and create a bridge from that world, from the old money system, which is old, to the new digital system, which is blockchain, et cetera. And that's what I've been doing for the last really 11 years. And I wouldn't say mastered it. I don't think I've ever mastered anything, but I've become very well versed at doing it, right? And how do I know? Because I have people always coming back to me, man, Ken, I appreciate you showing me how to get into crypto. And, I still have that wallet you set up for me, blah, 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 blah. This is years and years and years of doing that. And I just decided to put a system together. I said, hey, man, all this AI stuff going on, all this technology going on, there's a lot going on in the world. We got war. It feels like we're not, but we are. We're still shooting, doing all this crazy stuff all over the world. Oil is going sky high, and the World Cup was going on, and politicians doing what they always do, and arguing over stuff like that, and we still got all the other tension and just distractions, entertainment. There's a lot going on, but sometimes the pendulum is swinging, and we're trying to look left and trying to look right and trying to keep up with all this stuff, and we're missing the main thing that's right there in front of us. And that's what I had to do. I said, man, all this AI stuff is great. There's a lot of AI. I mean, there's a huge race right now for what country or what continent is going to lead the AI, the AI boom or whatever, whether it's China or US. I believe the US is still kind of ahead, but it was just too much to keep up with. And I'm just like, something else is going on here. What should I really be focused on? And I realized after doing a little bit of due diligence that the infrastructure was being built and had been being built for a while in the banking system when it comes to money, when it comes to the one thing that really it is what it is, whether you hate, whether hey, the root of all evil, money, all that stuff, you believe what you want. But trust me, there's a reason why you go hit that clock. There's a reason why, you look forward to your retirement. There's a reason why you have a bank account. There's a reason why, you see, there's money. It is what it is. You can't, that it's just very, very important. Someone said, and I don't know who exactly said this, but I know a gentleman that said, he said, money's not everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen. He said, if you have a little bit more of it, you breathe a little bit easier, right? And that's just the truth, right? So we got to start thinking a little differently now, because this system, the old antiquated system of, put your money in a savings account at Chase or Wells Fargo or Navy Federal, all these credit unions, all these banks, all these platforms where you can move money into, even Cash App and Venmo and PayPal, and all these systems are out there to do one thing, and that's to hold the most liquidity. They want the most assets under their control. So when we move our money into their accounts, right, they're happy. And then we don't move money out, they're even happier because now they can take that $3,000 or $300, $30 or $40, 3 grand, $300,000, and you multiply that over, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 million people, and all those fees and all those transactions and all those micro transactions, we call them, goes to who? The bank. And not only that, they're taking those assets and they're trading them, they're multiplying them, they're compounding them, they're leveraging them, using them as collateral. They're doing all kinds of stuff to make the money grow, right? While your account sits there and they give you 0.3 to 0.6% on that money at the end of the year. Now, think about what I just said. They're leveraging your assets, right? While there's a lot of scrutiny and a lot of things that the banks do that really hold up, your path to wealth. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I don't have to go down a rabbit hole, but I'm just gonna say you can do your own due diligence and you can just Google it, right? Google it, ask AI, ask chat, right? They do that now. Just ask chat quality questions and get you quality answers. But when you really think about what banks are doing, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, are you doing it too? Right? Because now the technology that has been cut on ever since the Bitcoin white paper came out back in 2009, it eliminates those intermediary parties of value exchange. So when I send, someone, like I see people on here now, if I could send, let me see who's watching right now. Someone on YouTube. I see 2 people on YouTube. If I could send whoever that I can't see, let me put my chat on. Let me put my chat on. Hold on, let me see if I can see who's on here. Show comments on stage. I'll put that on there. So if you're on there, if you're watching me from YouTube, I want to ask you a question, right? If you could get right now, your bank on average is giving you 0.3% to 0.6% annually on your savings account, right? That's not even 0.5% on that money. If you could take that same money and move it into a decentralized Web3 self-custody situation where you take ownership, you take more control over those assets and get 3% to 6 to 7%, what would you do? Just give me, does that make sense? Would you do that? Would you say, hey, I'm not moving all the money out of the bank because you still got to pay bills and all that. The banking system still is the banking system. It is still there for a reason, but I don't think it's there for growth. If anybody thinks that having a bank account is there for your growth, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Not matter of fact, I know so. Because if I could take that same $3,000, couple $100, whatever it is, and move it over here into a self-custody situation and get 3 to 8% on the same money that I was getting 0.3% to 0.8% on, to me, I'm over here all day long. And I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to understand and grasp what's taking place. Why is this such a better place to store my value? Why? What's going on? And it's all built into the technology, folks. So when you start to learn about blockchain, you start to learn about payment rails and stable coins and all this lingo, these catchphrases and these words that are in the crypto space, right? Or I like to say digital assets now, because crypto has got at this point, it's got a bad name, right? People are pretty fearful of crypto or pretty, wary of, oh, that's one of them things, Well, let's call it digital assets and see how that changes your idea. Digital assets, real world assets, real estate, oil, gold, silver, platinum, commodities and land and all that stuff, all that wealth is being transferred over to the digital space. It's all coming on chain. And I'm going to share a couple articles here because I like, real world proof, real proof of what's going on. I don't have to make this up. I can just pull it up and show you. But the first one I want to show you, if you're familiar, if you're in crypto and you're familiar with Kraken, right? Platform called Kraken. Let me share my screen here. Share my screen. Kraken's been around for years, right there with Coinbase and a few others that were there early on in the early days with exchanges. They've been around a long time, establishing all kinds of liquidity. But I'm gonna show you here what I got here. Let me see. Here we go. Crypto exchange Kraken. I'm gonna share. Let me go back, make sure I got that right. I'm going to add to the stage. There he is right there. So let me make my face smaller so you can kind of see this. There it is. So crypto exchange. Kraken is trying to become a bank in Europe. Kraken's focus is on Lithuania as the jurisdiction to secure the license according to a person familiar with the plans. This was huge, right? Because it's funny, when you look back at what banks were saying about crypto, they were saying, don't do it. It was a scam. It's fraud. Be fearful of it. It's a bubble, blah, 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 blah. Right. And this whole time, really the key thing to really that you can see very clearly is that banks were vying for position because they were building the infrastructure. They're getting patents on the technology. I think Bank of America, way back, like in 2010, 2011, 13, 14, they were leading the pack when it came to patents on the underlying technology that allowed crypto to exist, blockchain. They had more patents on the tech than anybody else in the world, I believe, in the world at that time. But that was a long time ago. That was while everybody thought it was not going to happen and crypto wasn't going to do this. And you just think about it, it's like, man, they really were playing in our face with the information, because while they were telling us it wasn't something to pay attention to, they were building the infrastructure out to actually leverage it in the future. And that's what you're seeing now. So now crypto exchanges are now becoming banks, and banks are now becoming crypto exchanges. It's the weirdest thing to see it happen, right? That's one article. I'm gonna go to another one here that you may have heard of, Circle. Circle's another article I want to show you, just to kind of give you an idea of all the things that are happening right in front of us. Let me see, where's that Circle article at? I think it's somewhere here. Where is it? Just saw that Circle article. I have it somewhere here. I'm going to type this in real quick. Circle. There it is. Boom. Go here. We're going to change it here. There it is. The world's largest regulated stablecoin powering global finance. Except these cookies. Right there. Oh, shoot. Where did it go? Internet's got a mind of its own today. Here it is. So, redeemable 1-for-1 US dollars. USDC. That's just a stablecoin, right? Enables 24/7 liquidity for near instant low-cost global payments. That sound familiar? Now, this was another crypto platform that now is right here, is in partnership with hundreds and hundreds of institutions, banks, probably governments. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of partners here. You can come to your due diligence, but just research Circle, right? But this is huge. This is what they're all looking for. That stablecoin play. And Chase, Citigroup, there's a handful of other banks that are going into business together. Never seen this in my whole life. I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me these institutions and corporations that are normally competing against one another are willing to partner up and break the pie? They don't want to be in competition. They're like, there's enough for everybody. Let's leverage the technology, get all our clients and all our customers to stay where they are, because that's the goal. They don't want you moving over here and taking the tech that they're leveraging and figuring out how to be unbanked. They want you to stay in their system, in their ecosystem, so they can continue to leverage the money, continue to leverage the assets, right? The timeline, the time that your money sits there. You know how much money they're making on your money. It's crazy, right? There's bonds, there's stocks, there's commodities, there's oil, there's gas, there's, man, there's quadrillions of dollars coming into the space. Number quadrillions. We can talk about that too. They don't even talk in trillions anymore. They talk about quadrillions of assets. Quadrillions of dollars of assets are coming on chain, meaning going from the old world of finance to a new world of finance. I want you to understand that. So there's no limit to what could be earned in the space. You're talking about trillions. We thought trillions was big. They're talking in quadrillions now. So you start looking at this stuff, and it's kind of mind blowing to see it happen. Yeah, here it is, all-time volume, 92.4 trillion. I don't even know how to, folks. This stuff is new, and look at the numbers that they're putting up. It's an active network. It's highly liquid, widely adopted, and supported by a global network of partners. Accessible to all, available to anyone with an internet connection all over the world. Right? Industry-leading security. There's a USDC circulation, fully backed. highly liquid cash and cash equivalent assets. I mean, I can go on and on and on. You can sit here all day. Here's some of the partnerships, right here. A lot of crypto right here, but I guarantee you, you see crypto here, I guarantee you go to the traditional space, you can, do some due diligence. Hey, who's partnered with here's Stripe. You're familiar with Stripe, right? That's some of the partners there. Here it is. Put your payments on internet rails, right? It gets to be crazy when you start really reading into this stuff. And then the aha moments, you start to think, wow, this is what it's been about the whole time. The underpinning technology that created crypto, that allows crypto to be what it is really the infrastructure to the new digital payment system. The way money will move from here till when we're dead and gone and beyond. That's what we're talking about, right? Getting to quantum computing and all that. We're not there yet, but I'm just telling you, it's absolutely it's the biggest thing that I've ever set my eyes on and start to understand. But yeah, you could do some due diligence on that. Don't want to hang too long on this, but I'm just kind of giving you some real world, in real time, information on what these banks and institutions are up to, and they're vying for position right now, right? They're vying for position to keep their control, to keep the power, to keep their leverage when it comes to the system, the new system that's coming up, and it's amazing to see it. And you could be on here all night. There's so many articles. But this is what I do to show people how to do that. If you're brand new to crypto, if maybe you've been in crypto, you maybe had one or two small investments, you lost some money, maybe you made some money. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm willing to help anybody. But I have a system that I built, and I'm going to pull up my website here, and it's called Unbanked You. And Unbanked You is a passion project for me, really, honestly, because I started realizing that I actually love to do it and help people set up their crypto wallets and things like that from the start, and show them how to. Let me see if I can get the screen to share again. Let's see. Go here. I see Mr. Kevin's on stage here. Let me go here to here. I'm going to share screen and go to my website.
Can you hear me now, bro?
Here it is. Yeah, we can hear it. Here's Unbanked You. So here's a site that I put together, and really excited about it because it's starting to take shape and starting, I'm adding more to it every week, and I'm realizing how, in depth I can really go to empower people with it. But from the very, very top of the site, you can see that it's all about what I've been talking about for the last, 15, 20 minutes here. While banks build their own digital asset infrastructure, they flood everyday people with fear and distractions to keep you out. They've been doing this for a while, right? So Unbanked You cuts through the noise and teaches you how to take full control of your money through self-custody digital assets with one-on-one guidance and a community, so you can own, protect your wealth without trusting banks or third parties, right? And it's all surrounding this system I call F.O.R.T, the Frontline, Offline, Recovery, Treasury. And I'll get into that. It's a little bit about me here, but you can go to unbankedyou.com, check it out. But I would like people to just book a session with me, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I can help you, just figure out where you stand, how to enter the space, and just give you some practical ways on, how to start to understand, wrap your head around really what the most important. I think crypto is great, but I think your self-custody is bigger moving forward. I think self-custody, privacy, security, these are the things that are really going to be worth way more than the actual asset itself, because what good is having gold if you don't have somewhere to secure it, to protect it, to make sure that no one knows it's there, things of that nature, right? Think about it. If you were a bank, how would you protect you think of what banks do. What do banks do? They put money behind a vault. They got security cameras. They got armed guards. They got armored cars. They got weaponry. They got tellers that are pushing a red button when you walk up if you look suspicious. And I mean, there's a lot of protection, security that they go through to protect the asset. So when you flip that switch on and you become the bank here, you have to have that same mentality. How do I protect it? How do I secure it? How do I recover the asset? You use what I call a shield folio, not what I call a shield folio. Where's my shield folio? I'm gonna show it to you. This little book right here is worth everything that I've ever had in crypto when it comes to my seed phrases, my wallets, my private keys. passcodes, passwords. Everything is in this book. This is what I call, this is the recovery part of the system. I show you how to get a shield folio, right? Get one of these and how to use it. And because I've been using it for years, everything's in here. I've got two. Actually, I've got another one, right, that I haven't opened. So those are some of the things, part of the system that I show you how to do. But that's what Unbanked You is about, right? So I'm gonna scroll down here to the F.O.R.T system down here. And it's about building your financial fortress. The sovereign defense stack helps you protect, organize, and strategically deploy your digital assets through 4 foundational layers. And I'm actually expanding on this right now. But frontline basically is showing you how to buy, sell, swap, spend, connect to Web3, connect to your DeFi protocols, right? You can learn more here. Then the offline, the O in F.O.R.T, is your digital wallet. So this is your everyday wallet, right? This is like an Exodus, a Trust wallet, a SafePal. There's so many out there now, MetaMask. I have a few that I recommend. You'll learn some of that stuff, but you have a lot of options there. Then the offline wallet is also called cold storage. This is your Tangent, right? This is what I have here. Comes with 3 cards. This is NFC powered, the best on the market. Show you how to get access to that, where you have long-term protection. So you're not moving, you're moving assets here to secure, to have a long-term, we call it HODL, right? Hold on for dear life. You have a long-term vision. You're putting your vault together here. This is where, just imagine if you had a bank. You have cash out in the front with the tellers, but the gold is in the vault, right? So you have your gold in the real money, the real wealth is in the vault. This is for your everyday spending. This is what eliminates a bank account. You don't need a Chase card, a Visa card. We already have stablecoins on Visas now and MasterCards and all that is already available. Readily, you can move to that. You can move away from that very, very easily getting involved in crypto. This stuff is liquid. Just showed it to you. Stablecoins are 1 for 1 $1. So if you got $3,000 in stablecoins, you've got $3,000 to spend with a Visa on this side of the table in this world. You could do it in the traditional world too, but again, better earning potential, more control, more speed, less scrutiny. Everything over here is a little bit more freeing than what's over here in the old system, and that's good, right? It's an advantage for you, but you have to understand why that is. So here's assets you plan to preserve, not expose. This is your vault. Then I show you how to set up the recovery. Just talked about that. Seed phrases, emergency planning, digital inheritance. Never lose access to what you own. All right. And then your treasury. This is the fun part for me, showing you how to put those assets that are in your, in your vault, how to put them to work with staking and liquidity, trading and yields and strategic allocation. Yeah, it's powerful. This is where some of that, 3 to 8% annual. Like I was telling you over there in the banking world, you're getting 0.3 to 0.6% annually for holding your money in their savings account. Not even 0.5%. You mean to tell me all your hard-earned work, all that hard-earned money, all that time you spent clocking in, going to work, whatever you do for a living, you spend a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy goes into accumulating these assets, making money. And then you go put it in a bank and they say thank you and don't even give you 0.5% on that money for holding your assets, for taking control of your money. That's really what's happening. You no longer control that money, by the way. Once you put it in a bank account, they're going to say thank you and give you 0.5%. I could take the same money, move it over here in a Web3 situation on a protocol, liquidity protocol, or so many different ways to do it. Just staking, just saying I'm just going to hold it here and get 3% to 8% on the same money that I was getting 0.3% to 0.678%, not even 0.5%. Come on now. That right there alone should make you curious and just have to say, wait a minute. Yeah, I would like my money to grow 10 times more than what it's doing over here. I would love it. Absolutely. Yeah, I show people how to do that. So that's what we've got here, the F.O.R.T. So I love how it's coming together. So the future doesn't belong to the wealthy. It belongs to the prepared. This is one of my favorite quotes of the whole platform. Think about what that's saying. The future doesn't belong to the wealthy. It belongs to the prepared. What is that saying? It's saying no matter how much money you have, if you don't have security, if you don't know how to protect it, if you don't know how to secure it, if you don't know how to prepare and put it to work and do those types of things, learn, secure, own, and deploy. There you go, right there. Then what good is it? You can lose it just like that. And I've seen it. I've seen people lose hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars just making bad decisions. Yeah, I'm one of them. I've lost a lot of money. I think the most I've learned, the most amount I've lost, I can't even give you the number, but it took 30 seconds for me to see what I used to make annually disappear from my hands, just like that. Yeah, from working the job, 60, 70, 80 grand a year, your typical job, in the US, most people are hopefully you're earning that amount. Most people are probably closer to 40 to 50,000 a year working full time. But I lost a large amount of money very, very quickly because I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't securing my asset, right? I was being very, yeah, I just wasn't paying attention. Let's put it that way. I'm not gonna go down. It kind of burns me still to this day. That's a lot of money because today that same amount, I can imagine what it's worth now. That was back in 2000, probably 2021. Yeah, somewhere in that range where I lost those funds. Man, it was crazy. But um, yeah, build your fort, folks, right? Join the unbankable. So become a liquidity provider in DeFi. There's so much to learn here. I show you how to do all these things. Once your wallet is secure, a hot wallet for daily use, cold storage, a vault for seed protection, the next step is putting those assets to work safely. That is the treasury function of your personal decentralized bank, right? So you can start small, understanding, got all the stuff. There's risk in everything. Let's put it out. You can risk getting up in the morning and driving to work tomorrow morning. It is what it is. Time's a funny thing, the timeline, the clock's always ticking. But, just part of being in this space and just really, it's part of just being alive. You could put your money in the bank and you're still at risk. Ask people in 2008, all those retirement accounts, all those bank accounts. Who did they bail out? Not us. Yeah, you see, they bail us out. So everything's a risk at the end of the day. And I've been hearing little birdie's been telling me, another one's coming. Don't know when. I just know the market is very volatile right now. And you got to make some decisions to want to be on the side where you can have more control, more authority, and just more earnability, just a better situation. I mean, to me, I'd rather have what's one of the quotes? Hey, I can do bad all by myself. I don't need a bank to tell me my money's worth 0.3%. I can come over here and get 3%, and all I got to do is just be a little bit more aware and take it serious that I can actually leverage this technology to do what it says I can do, and I have Ken helping me do it. Yeah, so I got a couple of quotes here from some friends of mine. Join the community. I have a Telegram community, YouTube channel, obviously Facebook. We have that set up. But yeah, the 30-minute session, folks, that's where it's all at. What you'll walk away with: a personalized roadmap to self-custody, the right wallet for your goals, security, game plan, clear next steps to begin your unbanked journey. And that's what it's all about. No pitching, none of that stuff. Just here to help you get an understanding of your situation. If you're brand new, or even if you have some experience, I'm here to help. I'm here to help you out. So that's why I wanted to show you a little bit of the website, and these Sovereign Sunday sessions are really. Let me see if I got anybody else here. Are really for hey, yeah, I see. So Kevin, you're on YouTube right now. I see you're on YouTube. Yeah. I see you. That's cool. I think he's there. Yeah, I see Kevin on. He's on live. This is one of my good friends here. He's actually in the space as well. Got some amazing projects that he's working on, and just excited about all the things that are available. Again, I told you before I realized I wasn't live. Collectively, there's so much more power in working together and collaborating versus trying to be
I'm
in
not on
competition with
YouTube
people.
anymore, bro.
You're not on YouTube?
No,
Okay,
I
cool.
was earlier. I couldn't remember the link to the
Oh, it's all good.
unbanked.live. It wasn't in your
Oh, it's all good.
for whatever reason I couldn't find it. So
It's all good.
I remembered what it was. I just wasn't sure if you were doing dialogue or a presentation.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out. It's I always keep it kind of open dialogue. On these, I want people to have a little bit of some feedback and kind of just some other lenses and and other ideas that are out there. So much out here. It's hard to keep up with everything. But again, I was just mentioning how working as a collective or collaborating with other people makes the space a lot safer. Because we can learn and we could protect each other. From information and also highlight things that we've learned over the years. That we know how to do and definitely some of the things we know not to do now. But that's what it's all
The,
about,
in,
man. So yeah.
the integration's getting even further, bro, than we realize. Like, I've been doing a deeper dive on that Acacia project, that
Hmm.
layer zero thing.
Hmm.
It's all about you want to receive like USDT, but I'm going to send you Bitcoin. And it makes that whole process seamless that you don't even see it. It's
You don't
just,
see it.
I send the Bitcoin, you get what you want.
That's what they're doing.
There's no going to Sushi Swap to make a
Yep.
swap and then having to send. It's just,
Yeah. That's what they've been building. That's the infrastructure they've been building to make it
it's
just like
incredible, bro.
it
It's
is, and it is happening.
incredible.
These institutions they're all over it, and they're building out. You're gonna see, y'all are gonna
You
start to
want to
see
see
it. I
a
mean,
video?
it's a pretty incredible. No, not right now, but yeah, you got to show me the video for sure. For sure, you got to send me a
I
video.
got three of them I just found today from the Akasha IO site.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
That's
was
we're
like,
gonna. Yeah, for
whoa,
sure.
my God, bro.
Yeah, there's some amazing stuff out here. There's a lot of content out here. You could just get on YouTube, get on X, get on these platforms, and you can go down a rabbit hole, and you can learn so much. But you got to wanna do it. You know, I tell people, I'm lead the horse to water, but I can't make you drink. You know,
Dude, I
I'm just
feel
telling you
like,
what I know.
I honestly, watching some of this stuff, I feel like just so in the dark, bro.
Yeah. Well, it's
Like,
moving fast. You know, it's hard
again,
to keep up with.
it's another one of those international company type things, dude. And it's like, they're light years ahead of us, dude. It's
That's
just,
another thing. That's another thing. The U.S. market is very, very
oh my
slow.
God.
You know, but it's funny. I mean, it's crazy to watch it happen in real time because every day you're seeing, articles like, these, like I was saying earlier, the banks are now becoming exchanges and the exchanges in crypto are now becoming banks. And it's like, wait, wasn't the bank saying don't do it? Now they want to be crypto exchanges. Okay, I get it. Now they want to hold stable coins. And now the exchanges like Kraken, they have licensing to be a bank. So it's like everybody just wants to be a DeFi bank pretty much at this point. They're all going for the gusto. They're all saying I'm in. And some of them are partnering up. You see some of the bigger banks like Chase and Citigroup and these different
They're,
banks, they're actually
they're,
partnering and collaborating together instead of competing. They're like, it's enough for everybody because they're saying quadrillions of dollars is coming on chain. Quadrillions, not trillions, quadrillions. So they're like, there's no reason to fight. We could just get in position. And they already
what
know
people need to
99% of the
realize more
people.
than anything
Listen,
is
listen,
they
listen.
don't
They know
need a bank.
99% of the people. Yeah, 99% of the people. They already know they're not going to adopt the technology. They already know most people are just going to be comfortable, complacent, and just wait for a bank to say, "Hey, your money's digital now. Go spend it," and they're just going to do what they always do, just become consumers. But the key now, you have to flip the switch. You don't have to be a consumer anymore. You could be someone that collaborates and leverages the technology, right? And has more leverage and has more skin in the game. Like really, you could create a situation where your money is making more money than it ever has, right? Just by flipping over to the new payment rails, the new digital economy they're calling it, right?
I think
It's
the
here.
only way you can get better is to see an actual receive address at a checkout point. That is the
Mm-hmm.
only way you could get any more out of the banking system than I've been able to find
Mm-hmm.
is
Yep.
direct QR wallet to wallet transfer. Other than
Yep.
that, if you've got to convert and you're using some form of platform, Circle, PayPal, Coinbase, Visa, whatever, there's still going to be that layer there, but it's going to be who decides to really get the middleman out of there, who decides to go straight. Like I'm that blockchain or that Bitcoin Black wallet, starting to do more research on that, or that like
Yep.
the Bitcoin Black Visa,
Yep.
starting to do that thing that you got. I think you ordered it.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Wow, man.
There's a lot of platforms out there that are taking advantage of the technology that's available to everybody.
Yeah.
They're just taking the technology and they're building concepts on it. Things real world. Things that just make sense for the consumer.
Yeah.
They're bringing solutions to problems. The problem is they know most people are not going to want to learn. They're not going to want to apply. They're not going to want to deploy and figure out how this works. They're going to build products so people just go from where they are to sitting
Ninety-five
right
percent of
where they
people
are.
are huddling.
They're still right there, so they know. So that's the game, folks. So you gotta, like I said, flip the switch and say, hey, I want to actually do something, different. I want to unbank myself. That doesn't necessarily mean eliminate banks. What I'm saying is create the bridge to where you could say, I don't need the bank for these types of products or these types of services. I could do this over here on my own and just get, multiple things in my favor when you start to do just basic common sense. Like, why would I want to earn 0.3% when I can earn 3%? It just, I think I'd rather earn 3% than 0.3%.
Interest rates are so much
Come on,
better in crypto.
it's phenomenal. Yeah, it's
Like,
phenomenal. It's not
it's
even close.
crazy. I mean, you see stuff and it's almost like, how can you not want to get out of the banks and get into this just
Yeah,
based on the
yeah.
simple? I mean,
It's
half a
it's comfort.
percent is enormous. A
Yeah,
full
it's
percent is
it's
enormous.
comfort. It's comfort.
Yeah.
It's complacency. It's comfort. It's people they think they got time. Me and Coach were talking about that earlier in the week. People think they got time, man. It's trust me, the time you think you have, again, yeah, that's ticking. You got to start to take action. And start to put yourself in position. Like I said on the site, it's not about wealth. It's about being prepared
To back up
and
what you just said
do it.
about time, bro, for anybody that's watching this, I almost lost my wife a month ago in a car accident. So just understand the power of what he just said.
Yeah, yeah, and someone's dealing with it right now, and it's a whole other story. It's everybody's going through something. It's just part of life. But I think that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down. Just about just going through life in general. I think those calls are are needed as well. Maybe this is the beginning of something like that. I don't know, but I would love for people to come on and just kind of have a place to release, and talk about real stuff in real time and have some have some real solutions, to some of the things that people are going through. But yeah, this is just a component. This is something I think is very, very important. And because I've sat down long enough and researched it long enough and did my due diligence long enough to start to build it out, scale it out, and realize that I had a real product that people could really use and really benefit from long term. This is something that you could take from today into the future, and it'll probably adjust here and there based off the amount of technology and things that'll be built on this tech over the next 5-10 years. But the foundation of it's, you need a wallet. You're going to need a wallet. You're going to need to know how to secure that wallet. You're going to need to know how to move funds in that wallet and how to create your vault, and to how to, hold that information, the passwords, the seed phrases, all those things that are the most important part of being in the space is your recovery. How, if something just happens, who's the second person? If something may happen to me, God forbid something happens to me, I don't want to just, nobody can get into the wallet. You got it. Is it your wife? Is it your significant other? Is it your grandkid? Whoever it is, is your neighbor, whatever. You want to have all those ducks in a row, just like if you had, a will and a power of attorney and a trust and all these different things. You got to have beneficiaries. You're going to think like that when you're in this space, and these are things that you can control and you can put, into position for yourself. Because one thing that we all, have been taught, especially men, a man leaves an inheritance, for his kids, 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 kids. A lot of men. And this is a whole nother story, a whole nother thing where I'm going. But the last thing you want to do is not be responsible enough to have those seed phrases and those passwords and things, you know, uh, written down somewhere or somewhere safe to where someone can get access to that if something should happen to you. People don't think about that. Like I said, they don't think about when I'm not going to be here. They always, tomorrow's just another day, but nothing's guaranteed. So yeah, man, those are things that we can discuss. Setting this system up that I have, and but at the end of the day, I'm looking for people that are really looking for me, that have seen enough, heard enough, and know that the space is something that they need to be a part of when it comes to crypto and blockchain, Web3, self custody, and getting started the right way, the first time, the last time. That's what it's all about for me. Having that impact and that purpose is what's driving me to do these calls and to take appointments with people. And my calendar's starting to fill up a little bit. It's
That's
exciting to see.
awesome to hear.
Yeah, the calendar's starting to fill up,
I
so it's good.
a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, Ken. I know her grandson pretty well too, and he's not into crypto yet, and I'm trying to get him
Hmm.
uh, set up. I'm gonna be sending him your way just because
Yeah,
I
for
look
sure.
back on my journey in crypto now, and I almost wish this would have been my first introduction to it. Like Unbanked
That's a
You would have been my first
yeah.
intro to getting into the space, setting
Mhm.
myself up right, doing all the little things that I've had to learn over 10 years and not have to like go through all those headaches, hassles, and hardships.
Right, right.
Um,
Yeah,
Man,
that's
there's
what
a
it says
good
on the
one here.
page there.
Triple H's, headaches, hassles, and hardships.
There you go, man. That's what it says on my page. It says, "Unthanked You is the playbook I wish someone had handed me on day one." What you
Yep.
just said, it's on my page there. So yeah, that's why I built it. I was like, man, I wish somebody. My goodness, the amount of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, that I was moving, over the course of the last,
Dude, I've
10
been part of
years,
some
man.
serious
You
scams,
know,
bro. Like,
Yeah, that too. Yeah, we've all had that, but I'm just talking about the wealth that slipped through your fingers because you were just frivolously just moving money around, living off the asset. If I had my cold storage up here, thinking about long term, I would have had that spending wallet, that hot wallet, or that hot wallet just to move funds around and kept that stored away, where I couldn't access it and have that really. Now, I can say I didn't make some good money. I made some really good money in crypto. I did extremely well, unemployable actually. But at the same time, there's some wealth that slipped through my hands. Let's put it that way, because I didn't have a system. I didn't have the, what to do
greed gets the
daily,
best of us
just
too,
like
bro.
that. Oh, definitely, definitely. Yeah,
Like, you start
yeah,
winning and you're like, it's almost like going to the casino. You think, oh
roll the
man, if I
dice.
can do this, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then next thing you know,
Hmm. Exactly.
oops, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and you win
I
some,
should
you
have
lose
kept
some,
half of that and not,
something.
or whatever. But
Right.
I remember going through something with another friend of ours where she was actually hired supposedly by a company that was investing crypto and got her to send money and they were sending her money back as payment to start the phishing scam. She
Hmm.
got people interested like myself, and then they scammed all of us at the same time.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens.
So
Those are things, I think, and with AI and the experience that we have now, there's a lot we can do to, I wouldn't say eliminate, because there's always a risk in anything, but at least mitigate, some of those things that took place over the course of the last, many years. And but yeah, man, it's hey, hey, it is what it is at this point, But I believe the
oh,
industry,
totally.
I believe the industry has turned over, a different type of leaf now, to where we could see it very clearly what we could do to make sure that we're part of the trend upwards, into creating wealth instead of losing out on opportunities and wealth. But yeah,
I
because
think
I
we're
know
also
I can
aligning
pick those, I can pick
ourselves.
those, I can pick those things out really, really quickly now. It's like,
I
wait a
also
minute.
think we're aligning ourselves with better people,
Oh yeah, for sure.
um, better intentions. Let's say,
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I feel
know,
good about, people. Like I said, people have gotten smarter. A lot of the riffraff, I guess, scammer type, they're still out there, but there's not as many, and they're easy to see now. I think a lot of people have kind of just become a lot more aware of how to approach the market, and how to using AI. There's prompts you can use now to really, do a lot of the due diligence for you. So those are things that I teach. Those are things that I teach, and but at the end of the day, you got to be the one to make that decision if the platform is something that you want to do. No one's holding the gun to your head, so to speak, to make you do it. So you make the decision. But all I can do is tell you what I've experienced and what I believe gives you the best probability to get into the market, get into some leverage situations, and make some money, right? So
It's
That's
better
it.
to get started and get started right than not get started and end up being
Big time.
forced to get started and then have to
Yeah.
fumble through everything the wrong way.
Right, right. You're looking at probably, a couple of $100, to enter the space. Maybe less than that. You can get into the crypto, $50, a few dollars here or there, move some stuff around, and you can start to see the power of moving funds, moving assets on chain, very quickly. So it's not something that's impossible to learn. It's very easy if you can, type up an email, copy paste. You can get involved. You can be involved, right? So as simple as that. So yeah, that's it, folks. I'm not gonna be long. This is, I was running my mouth for 15 to 20 minutes earlier. It wasn't even live. I finally hit the live button, and now we're
You
live. So we got some good content here to share and to feed off of. But thanks everybody for being on. And again, these are going to be 45 minutes to an hour. We probably could go another few minutes here or there, but yeah, I'm good to go, man. I just wanted to put that out there, let everybody know we're going to be here on Wednesday again. Every Wednesday we have the crypto coffee and collaborations as well, or collabs, and that's just
How
another,
long were you
kind of
on
a
this
hunter.
Wednesday? I tried to get on at like 10:45. Were you already off?
I probably was just gotten off because I usually go about 45 minutes on
Yeah, that's
there.
what I thought.
And
I've
yeah,
totally spaced it. I meant to be
nah,
on
no
there,
big
but
deal. No big deal. Every Wednesday we're there, and that's just a call to, or more of a collaboration. This is more of a, I guess, a conversation slash presentation, but I changed the format a little bit because I'm starting to realize people just want a place to come and speak and speak on topics and give feedback and learn and kind of open it up for a panel if that's what's I think it's what it's kind of coming down to. So this Sunday might actually end up being a Sunday and a Wednesday thing eventually. I think it's gonna kind of be the same deal. But anyway, um, at any rate, if you're seeing this
well,
for the
I'm
first
enjoying it,
time,
brother.
make sure you let me meet you out, Kev. If you're seeing this for the first time, you can make sure you go to unbankedyou.com if you want to book a session. And like I said, 30 minutes to an hour. I don't charge anything, on the front. And if there's an upgraded, fee, we'll talk about that for more time. But I'm just here to set the record straight and help people get started in the space of crypto, blockchain, the right way, the first time, and the last time. That's what it's all about. And in doing that, you join a community of like-minded people as well that can collaborate and create value and just really grow together. That's what it's about. Because this space is here to stay now. There, I hate to say it. I kind of proud to say, man, I was right. All those years I was telling people, crypto, it's the future. It's now. And we got to learn. We got to start to adopt. We got to start to create some leverage and just grow. And ignore the noise. And here we are, and it's all coming back to me now. It has all come true, and it's kind of fun at the same time. It's exhilarating because the information is there's so much coming out. There's so much going on in tech and in finance right now. Like Kevin said earlier, it's mind blowing. What's out here. But together, I believe we can be a lot better. That's what it's all about. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Call it another Sovereign Sunday session, and we'll see you on Wednesday. And we'll see you in the community. Appreciate you all being here. Good night. God bless.